Greetings everyone and welcome to the first review on this channel, and my first review period. I don't want to make it a habit of making reviews constantly due to me not know if I'm any good at these, but when I feel like making one, then yeah, I'll make one. As you guys can already tell by the title, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z is the focus for this video. Why? Well, if any of you remember back last year, I did a special called Blind Weekends where I obviously LP'd a game blindly on the weekends. This game was one of the games I chose, and I pulled the plug on it because this game should be renamed Battle of Disappointment. This game constantly shot itself in the foot whenever I found something to like about it, and it got to the point where I wanted to express my distaste for this game because I felt a lot of other DBZ fans seemed to be at most indifferent towards this game. Let's start with a little history lesson first. I've been a DBZ fan as long as I can remember. It was the biggest thing ever at the time. The neighborhood kids liked it, my cousins liked it, my siblings liked it, everyone that was anyone knew what DBZ was, and you couldn't go a block without finding someone who liked it. It was awesome. Obviously, due to its massive popularity, there were video games made for the franchise. These dated back as old as the NES and Super Nintendo, but the one everyone first played in my generation was the Budokai Trilogy. If you are at all a DBZ fan, you know just how awesome these games were, not just as DBZ games, but as good games in general. The follow-up to these games, the Tenkaichi games, were pretty awesome too. I say when it comes to character roster, Tenkaichi takes the cake, but I'm more a fan of Budokai's gameplay. Skip a few years and we are in the next generation of consoles, the PS3 and Xbox 360. This generation jump was huge. Games look so much better, and there is so much more developers can do for their games. At this point in time, DBZ had declined in its popularity, due to the series being over for a number of years. However, there were still hardcore DBZ fans out there, myself included, who would still support the franchise. Noticing this, developers continued to make DBZ games on these new powerful machines. This could only be good news, right? And how did these games turn out? Meh. Burst Limit was pretty similar to the Budokai games. Its character roster was abysmal though. The Raging Blast series went to the Tenkaichi formula, only once again to have a small character roster, and the story modes were beyond boring. Not bad games, mind you, just not close to what we have already got on the old consoles. Next was the worst of them all, Ultimate Tenkaichi. I can make a separate review of its own when it comes to this game, but for time's sake, I'll just say the roster was even worse than Raging Blast, and the gameplay regressed to this rock, paper, scissors fighting style that was all about luck. Absolutely horrible. At this point, I was losing hope for the franchise. I thought Ultimate Tenkaichi was going to be the best DBZ game ever, due to the way the trailer showcased it, and all I was left with was disappointment. Now we finally come to Battle of Z, riding the hype of the movie Battle of Gods created for the franchise. I saw some gameplay and I was really digging the 4v4 style of it. It didn't look too amazing, but it looked okay. I decided to give it one last shot, and to my dismay, it turned out to be the worst DBZ game I've ever played, period. Why is that, you say? Well folks, let's waste no more time and finally get to the review. Let's begin with the single player / story mode. It's broken up into missions, each being a part of a different saga. Saiyan, Frieza, Cell, Buu, Another Age, Extra, and Special Saga. The first four are obviously the anime arcs, whereas the other three house what-if scenarios, movie battles, or just some random ass shit. The storytelling isn't anything to write home about. We get some cutscenes here and there, with some flavor chatting during the battles. It's not horrible, but it leaves out a lot of detail, and by the end of it, you could care less. The only thing that bugs me is it's very inconsistent with what characters you can play as. Because of the 4v4 gameplay, you need to pick 3 other partners, but sometimes the game won't let you play as a certain character because they weren't present for the battle. Makes sense, I guess. However, it will let you play as characters that don't make sense either. When fighting Frieza for the final time, only Goku was present for that fight. But you can have Gohan and Piccolo on your team, as well as Krillin, who is supposed to be dead. This holds true for replaying missions too. Want to play a Cell and beat the shit out of Frieza? Well, too bad, you're gonna have to go fuck yourself. It's stuff like that that makes replaying these missions a waste because you're so limited on who you can pick. It's just lame. Next up is the gameplay, and there's a lot to take in here due to it being a new gameplay style. Let's start with the controls. I find they work, and I don't have a problem with them. However, I do wish they added a few more things. The two big ones being a way to escape a combo, and or the ability to fly faster. Whenever the enemy catches you in a melee combo, there's no way to break out of it. You just have to sit back and take it like a bitch. Doesn't sound too bad? Well, how about near the end of the game, where the enemy's combos fucking one-shot you? It's annoying, and whenever this happens, it's just unfair. There have been cases where the enemy flat out teleports away when I'm doing my combo. Why can't I do that? Combat would feel so much more fair if this were an option, but it's not. Back to the flying faster part. There are multiple times where the enemy is so far away and it takes forever to get to them to start a damn combo on them, and yet here they are, teleporting across the fucking map in seconds. It's also so hard to dodge the enemy projectiles because you're so slow, and if you get caught in an enemy special, you're fucked. A big part of the gameplay are different types for different characters. This makes sense seeing it's 4v4, and if everyone were the exact same, combat would get stale. There are 4 types: melee, key, interference, and support. The character's special moves determining the type. On top of that, some characters can be 2 types, having a type for each of their 2 specials. Sounds pretty cool, right? However, you can totally tell which types are good, and which types just suck dick. When it comes to playing, only melee and key types are worth a damn, especially key types. You can fight from a distance, reducing the risk of getting caught in a combo like I said earlier. Support types are actually the most important, but not for the player. Support types have moves that can replenish health and energy, which are very small to begin with. Without at least one support on your team, you will die. I am not kidding. I'd even say 2 would be recommended. And if you want to play as one, forget it. The game will turn from a fighting game to a heal and revive everyone game, which is boring as fuck. You'll notice I haven't mentioned interference types, and that's because I can't find a good reason for playing or using them. Their specials consist of moves like Solar Flare, which don't do jack shit. Don't even bother with this type, it's a waste. While you can look at these types as a balancing mechanic, if your favorite character ends up being a support or interference type, then whoops, if you play as them, prepare to not have fun. On top of that, you can't make a team of your favorite characters because you have to worry about having supports on your team, meaning Krillin will be your most used teammate. This leads me to the game's AI, which is by far what makes this gameplay style so unfair and bad. When you die, which will happen, you have 5 seconds to be revived, 10 for your teammates, otherwise you use a retry. Use all of them and game over. Doesn't sound too bad, right? It creates an urgency for teamwork, which would seem fun. However, due to the horrible AI, it is nothing but misery and frustration. There will be countless times where your teammates will just go fuck off while you're dying and bam, waste a retry. This is by far the most frustrating aspect of the game, and the reason it is so unfair. I can understand if your teammates can't make it in time, but there will be times where they will literally leave your side to go fight instead of reviving you. What in the fuck? There are different settings you can put your team to with the D-pad, but it doesn't change shit. The AI will do whatever it wants and you're at its mercy. And once you get a game over, you have to redo the whole mission. If you die at the last second, then guess what? Replay that whole mission again. All 9 minutes of it. A main component to the combat is the big energy bar on the top of the screen. This allows you to execute your super move when it's half full, as well as increase your key bar to use for regular specials. Max the bar out by the end of the battle, and it will allow you to share your energy with this global energy count, which I'll go into later. However, to increase this bar, you need to execute team moves with your incompetent team. This can range from attacking the same opponent at once by doing this flashy combo thing, which rarely happens, or chaining the opponent by sending them flying by pressing the guard and attack buttons together. If your teammate is also locked onto the same enemy after this happens, your teammate will chain, increasing the energy bar as well as giving some health on key sometimes. There's a couple of problems though. Due to the horrible AI sometimes they won't do this. If they are fighting another enemy, I understand, but there have been times where it's the 4 of us versus one guy, and some asshat on the team won't feel like pressing triangle. On top of that, sometimes the enemy will just smack into a wall before you get a chance to chain, or you'll just smack them down when you wanted to continue the chain. What the hell? And filling this bar is damn near essential if you want to stand a chance, so you'll spend the first 2 minutes just trying to chain all the damn time, only for it to constantly fail. Back to the global energy thing, these appear in some missions once you max out the energy bar. At first I had no idea what this did. The global energy on the title screen was maxed out, even when I first got the damn game, so why still bother? Not only that, but it would happen when I wasn't even connected to the internet. While recording footage for this, I finally found its purpose, to net you PP, or power points. This leads me into the card system. You can equip certain cards that boost stats like health and attack and what have you. You can also equip item cards like Senzu Beans. These can be bought with DP, I think stands for Dragon Points, well, whatever, which you can get from beating missions. The last type of cards are premium cards, which can give you a certain buff like auto block or more EXP. The good cards are obviously expensive, but look at how much these can be. 200,000? You only on average get 1,500 from the World Energy, so grinding for that would take forever. It's obviously not worth it. And because item cards are one-time uses and aren't too useful besides the Senzu Bean, I don't even bother. You might have noticed the color customization on the equip screen. Their sorry excuse to get a type of character customization was just to change the colors of the characters. Admittedly, this could be fun, especially if you want to make a Valentine's themed Vegeta, but it's so bare and uninteresting that who really cares? Speaking of characters, the roster isn't too shabby. It's got a good amount, probably on the level of Raging Blast minus a few exceptions, but nothing I'd lose sleep over. Unfortunately, it counts transformations as different characters. This makes the older characters seem pointless, especially if it's the same type. If the type changes, however, the character could be more or less useful, so it just kinda sucks. The one thing a DBZ fan always loves to see is the transformations. It's a huge part of the show. I hated this in Tenkaichi 1 and I hate it here. That's not even the tip of the iceberg though. Unlocking these characters is a fucking chore. Not only do you have to unlock them in weird missions, Super Saiyan 2 Goku in the mission where you fight Super Saiyan 3, but you have to get at least an A rank to unlock them, even an S for others. The fuck? I understand that there has to be an incentive to getting a good score, but why not giving you something small like more EXP or better cards? Not unlocking characters. That's a big part of the game, a fighting game no less, and should be unlocked by just being able to beat the damn mission. Imagine if you can only unlock Sage Naruto in Storm 2, the character on the cover by the way, by beating Pain in the story mode without getting hit, or within a time limit or some shit. Wouldn't that be stupid? Wouldn't that piss you off? Well, it sure as shit would for me. I didn't even get to play as Super Saiyan God Goku, the character they constantly promoted. Not only is getting to the mission a pain in the dick, but you gotta get an S rank. Fuck that, man. When it comes to the presentation of this game, it falls in the category of passable and awful. First off, the model quality of the characters is bad. This was the first thing I noticed in the trailers. It looks like a fucking PS2 title, and all the other DBZ games for the new gen looked amazing. Even Ultimate Tenkaichi. I was really digging the manga style it had, even if it was a piece of shit. I want to believe the graphics for this game suck so much, so that way it can help stable the frame rate since we have 8 players here. But still, this is a game released at the end of the PS3 and 360's life cycle, and it looks pretty bad. The music is meh. Some tracks are taken from the Raging Blast games, while the rest is its own content. It's definitely not as good as Budokai or Tenkaichi soundtracks, and nothing really sticks out. I'm not really digging the techno remakes they gave to Shala too, but at the end of the day, I couldn't really care if the music isn't all that great. The multiplayer is another aspect of the game where it falls flat on its ass. First off, no local. What the fuck? Every other DBZ game has had local. Hell, every normal fighting game has local multiplayer. That's the thing I love most of DBZ games. Playing against my cousins, friends, or brother is such a good time. But there's no good times to be had here. When it comes to the online multiplayer, it works. Didn't experience too much lag, but sometimes keeping a match can be pretty hard due to people leaving all the time, probably wondering what the fuck they're doing with their lives. But personally, I think this is even worse than the single player. Why? Because your real life teammates are worse than the AI. I'm not even kidding. First off, everyone wants to play as either a melee or a key type, and like I said before, no support equals no chance. So you all play as Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Super Saiyan God Goku, you lose because no one can heal. If you decide to bite the bullet for the team and play as a support, then yeah, you guys might stand a chance. But all you're doing the whole battle is healing people, and that's not fun. On top of that, no one wants to be these support types, so you're stuck playing as the shitty character the whole time. It's beyond boring. Unless you want to play with actual friends and you guys don't mind switching between support types, then don't even bother, it's horrible. What more can I say, guys? This game just feels like a second thought, and its unfairness just leads to it being difficult, and just not a fun time. This game made it really apparent that they just don't give a fuck about making good DBZ games for us loyal fans. This isn't the first time they've given us a bad DBZ game, but you can tell the quality has just been going down and down. And now here we are, a new DBZ game once again coming for the new systems, the PS4 and Xbox One. The developer this time is Dimps, the same people who made the Budokai series. So far it looks like it has neat ideas, an in-depth character creator, a nice spin on the story where what-if scenarios occur and your character has to save the day, and the fighting system looks like a hybrid of Budokai and Tenkaichi. We should be nothing more than excited about this. However, this is how I felt about both Ultimate Tenkaichi and Battle of Z. Like I said earlier, I thought Ultimate Tenkaichi was going to be the best DBZ game. The best! I just can't care anymore. I'm going to wait for this one. I recommend fans out there do the same. I constantly see people overhyping these games in YouTube comments and people uploading and discussing these trailers. We gotta be more cautious here, guys. We know they're trying to milk us, and we can't just go blindly into a new DBZ game awaiting greatness. At the end of the day, it's your decision, but the saying you speak with your wallet really holds true. Hey guys, just want to say thanks for watching my review. It's been quite the experience making this. I actually have to admit, it was more fun than making my playthroughs and stuff like that, but this did require a lot of time, and like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything you feel I missed or just want to give your 2 cents on as well, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this game, as well as maybe Xenoverse or whatever. Even if I do seem a little negative with the whole Xenoverse game, you guys are still a lot. I'm not telling you what to like or what not to like. If you're hyped about Xenoverse, more power to you. I do hope it's a good game. I really do want to change this mindset, and I really want to get excited about the game. But like I said before, it's hard. But anyway, if you have some suggestions to maybe other games I could review or want me to review, or if you have some feedback on how I did. I know I sound forced sometimes, and I think I even said like a wrong thing. It's hard to edit with this kind of stuff. Um, but first review, so of course I'm gonna mess up here and there. But yeah, like I said, just want to hear some feedback on your guys' part if you don't mind, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in my other videos, playthroughs, maybe another review in the future, and yeah, you guys take care.